Great. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the class tonight. We're talking about healthy eating and wellness, and then we're going to do 3 recipes. It's called Fast and Fresh Salad. So we'll just talk a little bit with the PowerPoint. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but just to kind of warm us up with healthy eating. So here we go. All right. I'm Nancy Zawicki. I'm a registered dietitian with Northwestern Medicine, and I mostly work at the Delmer Cancer Center. And I'm so glad you could attend today, even though it's so warm out, so salads are really popular. And I just wanted to show you a couple variations that can be quick and easy and full of fresh vegetables and some fruit. Let's see. Okay, 1 second. All right. So research studies show that, there's a correlation between lifestyle changes and decreasing cancer occurrence and other chronic illness. So we're encouraging a healthy lifestyle, which includes daily exercise, healthy eating, and then that can equate to weight management. And that's a big thing. We want to try to avoid weight gain. Everyone's different. Some people have gone through treatment and lost weight, and they're trying to regain weight to get to their usual body weight. And then there's some people that are just wanting to lose some weight for good health. So whatever works for you is totally fine. But if you're in that category where you're trying to lose some weight, the big thing is to avoid further weight gain because that's associated with increased risk of recurrence. So if you are trying to lose weight, usually a 1 to 2 pound weight loss per week is safe and does lead to more sustainable weight loss. But incorporating exercise is really important because that's going to keep your muscles toned. And we also want to encourage protein intake too, and getting away from a lot of sugars and salt intake. Those are things that we can control, and our taste buds tend to readjust if you try to avoid those foods. Okay, so and then with physical activity, do things that you enjoy, like walking, and then set a goal, like maybe start gradually as you try to build up to your goal. And you can even walk a couple times a day, like maybe a half hour in the morning, half hour later in the day. That equates to an hour every day, and that's a really good goal. Some people choose to swim, some people bike ride, whatever you enjoy. We want you to enjoy. Try to do it every day, so that way you build it into a habit. And with breast cancer too, that is really important, is avoiding weight gain and getting the daily exercise can really help people. And you feel better too. All right, so here's just a little why set goals, make them specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So don't try to overachieve something. Start out slowly, reach that, and then just continue it on a daily basis. And I know that we can often talk ourselves out of things, but if you try to do it first thing in the morning, that's really good. Then you've got it over with for the day, and you can enjoy the rest of your day. So here's a healthy guide to eating. We recommend avoiding fad diets. What we promote here at Living Well is a Mediterranean diet or lifestyle. And it's using a lot of like whole, fresh vegetables and fruit, whole grains, lean meats, healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, the fats from fish, lean proteins, and it's really a great way to eat. Fad diets, that's what they are. They don't last, they're not sustainable. Also, when we say Mediterranean/lifestyle, the lifestyle part is the exercise, getting good night's sleep. If you smoke, try to stop that. Making time for yourself every day. So you have a time in the day where you can just kind of de-stress and do things that you enjoy. It's all really important. When you have a cancer diagnosis, you want to protect up here. You want to maintain a positive attitude, and studies show that that really helps people get through what they're getting through. And just, doing the daily exercise. I know when I walk, I feel like I do my best thinking because you're around nature, it's very calming, and you feel energized then. So it's really important. Another thing too, part of that lifestyle is being careful of alcohol intake. That is something you would want to discuss with your oncologist. And, you know, there are recommendations through the American Cancer Society, but they are finding that alcohol is associated with increased risk of the cancer, certain ones. But I don't want to tell you what's allowed or not allowed, but it is a very good question to talk to your doctor about. Okay, and so another way to see like what is the best weight for you, you can use a BMI, basal metabolic index. And some people don't care for that. I'm fine with it. That's how I try to gauge my weight control, is that I'm within normal body weight. But really, you know, depending on where you're at, ask yourself, how do you feel with your current weight? We don't want you to try and get back to your high school or growing year weight. You probably wouldn't even look good now, you know. We sometimes, as we get older, we kind of need a few extra pounds just as a buffer in case something happens where, you know, you have to be hospitalized and your appetite goes down. So we're not trying to make everyone skinny minis. That's not our goal. But if you feel you're at a point in your life and your weight is affecting your joints, or you being able to get around, or adding to your energy level, then it would be something to look at. But you got to do it really carefully too. You know, you might even consider the small meals with a healthy snack in between, getting away from sugary foods and junk foods, fast foods, and focus on protein foods with each meal and snack. And that helps give you satiety too, makes you feel full. So I usually start my morning with a little container of Siggy's yogurt. I like Siggy's, it's got a high protein content, it's lower in sugar, and it tastes good. And then, you know, if you wanted mid-morning to have, I don't know, I like apple with a little peanut butter. Lunch can be a bowl of soup, maybe a salad with some form of protein like chicken in there is good, and kind of that kind of routine. But watch portion size. We're not talking about big portions. We're talking about smaller amounts. And I would measure out the food so that it's, look at, you know, if it says a half a cup is a serving, measure it out so that you train your eyes to know that that's a normal portion. So that's a big part of it too, is getting familiarized with portion size. And then what are some healthy eating plans? You know, really, when you look at your plate, now as you approach meal planning, you pretty much want half of your plate with vegetables, and then a side dish is your meat or your protein, and then if you want like a starch of some kind. And you want to avoid fried food, greasy food. You know, roasting vegetables is a really great way to get more vegetables in your diet. I know for myself, years ago, I did not like Brussels sprouts, and now I really like them. I feel like Brussels sprouts is like the comeback kid. It's gained in popularity, but a lot of it is the way you cook it. So if you wash the Brussels sprouts, cut them in half, put them in a bowl and just a little drizzle of olive oil, and then toss it and put it on a sheet pan and roast it at 400 degrees for maybe 15 minutes until it's your desired doneness, you'll be amazed at how flavorful and delicious they are. And then, you know, a good source is looking online for recipes, like type in healthy recipes and put like Brussels sprouts. You'll see that you can even add cut up apples to the Brussels sprouts, or even some dried cherries. Or you can combine another vegetable with it, like cauliflower, and it's really kind of fun. And really, I like roasting vegetables too, so when I get home and to get the meal started, I'll put some roasted vegetables in the oven, run upstairs, change, you know, and then proceed with the rest of the meal. So it works out. And then, well, we refer a lot to, this is very similar to the Mediterranean diet or lifestyle pyramid, they call it, where you can see at the bottom of that pyramid are the people, like you see them dancing, so like they're active. They have a family meal time and they're social. So that's what we want. We don't want you to isolate yourself. Do things that get you out there so that you're feeding off of people, you're enjoying it. I feel like I'm a people person. I don't like to just be home. I like to go to the bank. And I know people think I'm crazy, like we were just talking about that today. I like to go to the pharmacy to pick up my prescriptions. Like, I don't know, it's okay if you have that kind of time. But anyhow, in getting involved, some people volunteer or join groups or book clubs. So it is important to try to connect with people. It helps us all. And that's why Living Well is such a great place too. It is a place to connect. And that was kind of the whole premise of having Living Well, is to give people a place to congregate and share their new experience. So here's an example of the Mediterranean diet where it says choose plant-based foods, beans, lean meats, whole grains. So getting away from white bread, white pasta, like we're doing a recipe today where we're using whole grain pasta. You can barely tell the difference by taste, but you're adding more fiber to your diet. Using olive oil, I've really gotten away from using butter at all. Maybe at the holidays I might use some, but really I just like using olive oil. And then using herbs and spices, and that's good because you get away from using salt. Like I don't even use salt. I use black pepper. We, grow a little bit of a herb garden using vinegars, mustard, gives food flavor. Garlic and onions also gives flavor. And as you get away from using salt, your taste buds don't desire it as much. And there's a lot of people as you get older that have hypertension or for various reasons heart problems where they're told to cut down on salt. And it's a real eye-opener when a person looks at their diet. Oh yeah, I'm using processed foods. I'm eating fast food. I use salt. I salt my food at the table. So there's workarounds, but the Mediterranean diet is really the way to go, with cutting out the salt and all. And then you'll see the limit is processed foods. Like, there might be some things on occasion you might want a cookie. That's okay. We want you to still enjoy food. We don't want to be like the police for food. We want you to still enjoy meals, sit down, eat, and not be fearful. But if sometimes for lunch, say you go to the pantry and think, I don't feel like making anything, I'll just grab whatever, crackers or cookies, that's not good. So that's what we're trying to change, those habits if that were the case. And then just cutting down on saturated fat, like using a lot of lunch meat or different types of sausages, trying to do more with poultry, pork, fish. Red meat, I find myself really not eating it that much. It has gone up so high in price. Steaks, I might use some hamburger, but it's not every week. But I like pork tenderloin. I put it in a crock pot and let it just slowly roast. And you could do so much with that. But really, poultry is really good. And then if you do like 2 servings of fish a week, you're going to get, your fatty acids, and you don't need to be taking fish oil, and, it's really good. And try different ways of cooking that might interest you. Like we got an air fryer, and now my husband, who doesn't cook, makes salmon in it, and it turns out really good. And it's fun when you get a new tool like that. Or just put it on, plan your meals out. Like on a Sunday, kind of figure out what you want to have for each day of the week, and then create your grocery list, go through your refrigerator to use up some things, and kind of go from there. It's just a good way to do it. Especially with food costs being so high, you do want to not have to throw food out because you forgot about, whatever was in your refrigerator. So the salads that we're doing tonight, the premise is using chicken. So each salad is going to have chicken in it. I'm not saying you would want to eat chicken every single day, but it's just to give you the idea of you buy like 2 chicken breasts and then cook it up, and then you can divide it into 3 meals. And if you're not going to want that chicken every day, you can bag it up in a freezer bag and put that cooked chicken in the freezer. And then when you're ready to use it, just take it out. It's already cooked. Just let it thaw. But we'll go through that. Whatever plan you decide works for you, the foods you eat should be the healthiest choices possible. And that was something I attended a seminar, or was virtual, and they were talking about different diets, and they just said, you find what works for you and stick with it. So you find what you have, you've had success with and stick with it, as long as you could tell that it's a healthy choice. Yeah, so we kind of covered this. Okay, and then eggs. Eggs are a good source of protein too. There's so much you can do with eggs. You can make egg muffins, do a frittata, throw it into a salad, make egg salad. They have gone up in cost, but they're still considered an economical source of protein. So those are good. And then cottage cheese, yogurt, getting more of a low-fat product gives you protein. And then nuts. And again, if you're trying to cut down on salt, you could get like lower sodium nuts rather than the full salted ones. And then, let's see, soy products. Whole soy itself, like edamame and tofu, are fine even for people with breast cancer. They can have that. For breast cancer, I won't spend too much time, but there's an added ingredient called isolated soy protein that you need to avoid if you are estrogen positive breast cancer. And so a clue is it's usually in processed foods. So you're going to look at the label, and the first clue is if it says made with soy, then look further. And then if you see that isolated soy, just to avoid it. But regular soy itself is okay, and soy lecithin is okay. It's kind of a thickener, whatever. But I have to avoid it too, and I haven't had a problem. What I do is I try to shop the outer perimeter of the store. So I've got my produce, I've got the fresh dairy, fresh meats, the whole grains. It's up and down the aisles is where you get all the processed foods that you want to kind of stay away from. And you know, those end caps in the store can be so tempting, like you didn't even have on your list, and like, oh, those Oreos look good. Try to put blinders on. But another trick is don't go hungry to the store, and that really is true. We're human. Our minds can talk us into many things, so that's a good way to do it is don't go hungry. And then vegetables. So the big push with the American Cancer Society, they say like 6 to 8 servings a day or 5 to 7. Here it's like 2.5 cups a day of fresh vegetables and fruit. So there's opportunities for every meal, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks to get some vegetables or fruit. So pineapple right now is really good. And pineapple's good because there's an enzyme in it called bromelain, which helps with our joints. So it's got that added benefit. Apple season right now, so you've got beautiful apples. And then our salads class will show you how to add more vegetables to it. I like to make a stir fry if I know I'm getting close to going grocery shopping. I want to like see what I have in my refrigerator, cut it up, use brown rice, and turn it into a stir fry so that I use it up. But you just have to I think you will find you feel better when you eat a healthy meal. You just feel good that you did that, and then you feel energized. And you also don't have that real overfull feeling either. Like, I don't know, sometimes you might notice if you have a big bowl of ice cream, you're like, oh, why did I do it? You know, you don't really get that feeling with the vegetables and fruit. You have kind of an okay feeling, like I did good, you know. So, all right. Yeah, and beans, we have a recipe today with beans. They have high protein content. Thought this was interesting. White beans, such as Great Northern, which are cannellini, garbanzo, and navy beans tend to be higher in protein. And then goes pinto, black beans, and kidney beans. So remember that the whiter beans have higher protein. But really, you can use them all. You know, making a soup, throw whatever ones. I've been doing like tacos, and then I added a can of either pinto or black beans, and it kind of stretched the meat, but also added some soluble fiber from the beans. And it was quite good that way. I actually added like a little can of tomatoes chopped up as well. Or you could do fresh tomatoes. If you have a garden and you're bombarded with a lot of tomatoes, you can use them that way too. All right, well, let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and do our salads now. You have the PowerPoint if you want to look at anything further. Just this last point is, you know, with whole grains, when you make a choice, like I would say try to have like 3 servings of whole grains a day. It gives you fiber, it gives you B vitamins, helps with our digestion. But I remember once I was at the grocery store, and I think one of my kids said, get bagels. And So I'm looking, and they're all like white flour. So I'm like, so I end up with whole grain English muffins that had raisins. So so kind of think twice when you just pick something up. Wait, is this going to benefit? Is it just white flour, or is it like more of a coarse whole grain? And that's what you want. And don't be afraid of including breads, like good breads in your diet. Like, we're not saying eat a ton of it, but it does have a place in your diet that's enriched with nutrients and iron. And then oatmeal is wonderful. As we get into the fall, having a bowl of oatmeal, and you can add chopped up apple and nuts, and it's really good. And it gives you satiety too. It makes you feel full. All right, I'm going to leave this. I can just hit leave there.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, no, you stop sharing.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Stop again. Okay, so.
Can you see yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's how you know.
All righty, so we're going to start with the first recipe, and it's going to be a Mexican Cobb salad. So I'm not going to make them as big as the recipe might warrant. So I'm going to move the camera down. I'll take this off. And you should have this in the chat, is it? The handouts?
The handouts were emailed to everybody, and the recipes are on the website.
Okay, so the handouts were emailed to everyone, and they're also on the website. Okay, so let's see here.
Wherever you want to be. Do you want to be over here?
Yeah, I'll be right here.
It's over here. Can you kind of see what you need to see over there?
Oh, no, I'm going to just do it like right here. All right, I'm going to move it down.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you. All righty. So I have some romaine lettuce that I've already cut up and washed. And, you do want more darker lettuce and all, but sometimes I like to use romaine because it's crunchy and crisp. And you can always blend your lettuces too with like spinach or some of those darker mixed greens. But for today, we're going to do this. I think it'll be good. All right, so I like to make a bed of lettuce, and then I like to do like some rows. So we're going to add some black beans, and you can just pick wherever you want to start and just do little rows. Put a few more over here. And then I've cooked up chicken. So I used 2 big chicken breasts, and I cut it up and then just sauteed it. And if you were going to just cook them as a chicken breast, I would use a thermometer to check doneness. So you want chicken to be done to 165 degrees. I wanted to cook it up ahead because, with chicken, you can get cross-contamination. So I used a cutting board, cut up all the chicken, put it in the skillet, and got it going, cooking. And then I washed everything. I'm going to put it in the dishwasher. I rinsed all those cutting mats and knives. We're going to put in the dishwasher. And now I have, fresh utensils here. So that's what you want to do. You don't want to mix raw chicken with cooked chicken. And that's how people get sick. It's from cross-contamination. All right, and I just added pepper, and I just used some olive oil with this. There, so that should be enough. And then we have some red pepper. Just cut those up, and you might have these in your garden. They do say that red peppers have a higher amount of vitamin C because they take longest on the vine to turn into that nice red color. So you get that. And then I like to use fresh corn, and this handy little tool is kind of fun to use. It's called a corn kernel cutter. So you can see I've already taken some corn off, but I'll just show you how it works. I know it's a white bowl, you can't really see, but you just kind of drag down, and then you'll get your corn off. And it's curved, so you're not going to like slip and cut yourself as you might with a knife. And you can use raw corn or cooked. It doesn't matter. They have the same nutritional value, and it gives a nice little crunch. While corn's in season, if I'm making a soup, I always like to use fresh corn because it does have that nice crunchiness to it. So here we're going to add another row of corn. There we go. And you know, if ever you have corn left over, you could just easily saute it in a little skillet with some olive oil. And you gotta keep it on low heat because there is like a milk of the corn and it can burn, but it's really tasty when you saute it that way. And then we're gonna add some radishes, I'll just cut up, and some green onion. All right, so I'm just gonna cut a few of these. You know, when something's roundy like that, I like to set it on a flat surface so I don't risk cutting myself. It can be dangerous in the kitchen if you're not careful. And always have your eyes down when you're using a knife. And you know, the radishes kind of have a peppery flavor to them, so they're adding good flavor as well. Kind of garnishing with that, and then we'll just put some green onion on here. And so you've got your protein and all your vegetables, and the last thing is salad dressing. And all this is, there's a little bit of mayonnaise, and then it called for sour cream, but I used Siggy's plain yogurt, and then there's a jalapeno chopped up and some chili powder, a little garlic, and that's it. So then you can just drizzle it over your salad. So yeah, this looks good. It can make a meal, a dinner meal, and if you wanted to have some tortilla chips with a little guacamole on the side, that works too. So that's our first recipe. It's the Mexican Cobb salad. Thank you.
Works.
All right. All righty. So now we'll do the next recipe. I'm okay. All right. So now this next one is going to be an Asian vegetable pasta salad. So I'm going to bring things over. All right, so this is the whole wheat pasta. I'll show you the box. So it's a whole wheat thin spaghetti. And you'll notice in the pasta section of the store, they're coming out with all kinds of varieties of pasta. There's like a red lentil, there's chickpea, so you can do whatever you want. This is kind of a lot of pasta, but we're just gonna go with it. So we're gonna add some vegetables. This is yellow squash that's been cut up. And you know, when you do your salads, it is nice to have different shapes and sizes of your vegetables. We have red pepper and more scallions, but we're gonna do something like Julian style with the cucumber and the carrots. And what that does is it gives mouthfeel where, you know, things aren't all the same. We're going to add some more of this chicken. So we had 2 chicken breasts, and we're going to get 3 salads out of it. And I like that because then you're not overeating on the protein, and you're kind of stretching your food costs too to get 3 meals out of it. The other thing I didn't add to that one Mexican salad is cilantro, so we have that. All right, so now we're going to, I haven't done this for a while, but we're going to try it. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is called a Julian Peeler. It's just a handheld one. So you're just going to hold the end of like your carrot and kind of drag towards you. And you're going to get these real thin strips. I think some people, you know, spiralizing vegetables was really popular for a while. And it probably still is, but this is the same thing. This is just a handheld tool, but they're just, you know, using the vegetables, but giving it a different shape. So kind of like a spaghetti. So you can add as many as you want. And then I would cut it in half too, so it's not big, huge strings of it. That in, just do a little bit more. Sometimes it gets harder when it gets thin. I use another carrot. So I peeled it first and then we're doing this. Good to have a big carrot to hold on to the end. All right, that's good. All right, and then we're going to do a seedless cucumber too. Like that. All right, so the same thing, and you know, with the seedless cucumber, the skin is fine to eat. It's a thinner skin. It's not like waxy like some of the other type of cucumbers, and it's seedless, so that's really nice. So, that. You know, it's usually wrapped in plastic, and I like seedless cucumbers. Okay. And you know, if you get tired of doing this, you could just chop up the rest and throw it in. It doesn't matter. I'll do that. Because again, you don't want to waste stuff. That's the key. You know, and a lot of our vegetables and fruit right now out there have a high water content. So if you're trying to hydrate, you know, like say you're going through treatment and like drink lots of water, some of your vegetables like cucumbers, tomatoes, watermelon contribute to the extra fluids that you need. Cantaloupe too. So incorporate them if you like them. All right, and then there is a dressing we'll add to this. Oh, thank you. All right, so this is rice wine vinegar, and then let me see, it's soy sauce, and then it called for Asian seasoning. I didn't have any, but I found some teriyaki sauce in the refrigerator here, so I just put a little bit, and then some peanut butter and garlic. Well, the peanut butter was hard to stir, so I microwaved it for like 30 seconds, and that loosened it up and allowed for being able to stir it better. All right, so we're just going to throw this in. And you know, some of these, this one especially, would make for leftovers good because we don't have all that lettuce in there, which can get wilty. That, and then called for dry roasted peanuts to put on top. And I didn't want to get a big jar, so in the checkout, I just found, it's got a little sugar, honey roasted peanuts, but I thought, it'll work for today. But if you have nuts at home, you can just use yours. So, I'll get it open. There we go. So I'll just throw those on. All right, it probably needs the dressing to be mixed in more, but you get the idea. This is Asian vegetable pasta salad. I'll throw some of this red pepper in too. And you know, with recipes, make it your own. If you don't have an ingredient and you find something that you have that would work just as well, just use it. You know, like we use yellow squash, but if you have a zucchini at home, then you can use that. It's totally fine. There you go. Thank you. And then the last one. I'm going to change mats here. Be right back. Okay, so this next one is called a melon and chicken salad. So that you're going to create a bed of lettuce using spinach. And you know what, if you don't like spinach or you don't have it, you can do romaine or mixed greens, whatever you have on hand. Recipes are very forgiving. But it is nice. Spinach is nice when you add strawberries and all. It's a good combination. Alrighty, so let's see. We're going to do the chicken first, so we can just use that up. Put the remainder in. This one I'm not going to put rows. I'll just move this around. All right, so this one is going to have cantaloupe ribbons and cucumber, strawberries, and blueberries. So it'll be kind of a high antioxidant salad. So First, I'm going to just add the cucumber. I'm just going to slice it. Then I'm going to cut it also so it's easier to eat. Just quarter it. Head around. Oh, we're doing good. Yeah, some of these salads, doing a little prep work in the beginning is good, and then you can just assemble it ready for dinner. I know I've mentioned before some of my favorite cookbooks, and I really like Skinny Taste. They have a lot of salads and bowls, and I love that they have pictures too. I don't even buy cookbooks if they don't have a picture, because then you can see what it looks like and decide if you want to use it or not. All right, so then we're going to add some blueberries. Blueberries are in season. I've been finding some good prices for fruit. Like the other day, I found raspberries for 99 cents. So that's awesome. You got to really be a good shopper and watch for specials to keep your food costs down. But you know, you can freeze these berries and have them throughout the year. So when you find a good special, put them in a freezer bag, put in your freezer, and you know, they're good, like even in cereal, and keep them frozen. Makes the milk really cold. I'm just going to slice some of these strawberries and throw them in. And the last thing will be ribbons of cantaloupe. I love cantaloupe. I actually haven't had much of it this summer. I don't know why. Growing up, we had a favorite dessert. It was my favorite, where you cut your cantaloupe, like just kind of cut it with the rind on, put it in a bowl, and put vanilla ice cream on it, and it was called a Boston Cooler. I loved it. I don't know why I liked it so much. It was really good. My parents were from out east, so I think it was an out east kind of a dessert maybe. Probably at home I'd be a little more careful with how I cut the top off, but this is just trying to be fast. All right, but see how strawberries and blueberries look so beautiful together? Add nice color. All right. Now for the cantaloupe. All right, so I just cut the cantaloupe up and took the rind off. And then this is a serrated peeler, so it's got a fine serration to it. And then you can, I'm going to take some of the green off real quick. Okay. And then I'm just going to drag it and see what we get. Like, it is kind of thin, but, and see if you want to even do this. You could even just chunk it, but you're going to get like these ribbons of cantaloupe. So it, again, it's adding a different mouthfeel to your food. But sometimes when you're cooking and you're in a hurry, you don't have that kind of time to do all this fancy footwork. So, but it might give you an idea for something. So. Yeah, they're really juicy, these melons. All right, I think I'm going to cut the rest up just to get it on here. So continue to reap the benefits of summer fruits and vegetables, because as it gets colder out, we'll switch to more of a root vegetable and do things like that. So every season has its fruit and vegetable. So I'm going to make the dressing now. Just mop up my cutting board. Oh, thank you. All right, so let me see what this says. All right, so it says 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I like to just estimate. And then 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I tend to go less on the oil just because that's my preference. I like things a little more tangy. So I do a little less. It calls for water. I don't know if I'm going to do that. And then some, oh yeah, poppy seeds. Those I think I'm actually going to just shake on the Maybe better. Yeah. Poppy seeds are kind of fun, like dress things up. That way they'll distribute more. And then some Dijon mustard. A little squirt of that. And a little bit of honey too. I like Dijon mustard. It gives some boldness to your salad dressing. And the honey is just going to cut some of that tartness from the vinegar. I love making my own salad dressing because you know what's going into it. You're getting away from process. So easy. Usually it's just a type of vinegar, whether it's red wine, balsamic, apple cider, rice vinegar, and then your olive oil and some form of a mustard. And we can just pour this on. So that is the salad dressing. So here I'm just going to show you what this one turned out like. And it's the melon and chicken salad. Thank you. All right. So that's really it for the salads. You know, do you want to show the camera with? Sure. If we could do that. I'm just going to show you what they turned out like. I'll move this. This is Ashley here. She's a new program director, and she's been very helpful executing our class, our technology. All right. Well, if you would like to share anything you want, like what you're doing for healthy eating, or if you have a salad idea you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you. So just unmute yourself, or if you have a question too, can help you. Anybody? All right. Do these look appealing to you? Would you maybe try this in your own house? Oh.
Yes, they look very good.
Oh, good. Thank you, Deanna. Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, it's still warm out, so it's great to enjoy, you know, these kind of meals. And yeah, I was going to say too, if you're working and you take a lunch to work, it's really good. I try and pack my lunch the night before, and that way you've probably already had dinner, and you're just like, okay, and then you can steer yourself to eating healthy instead of throwing things together. I don't know. I just like that you can portion control and include, you know, cut up fruit or making a salad, and then avoiding adding those little extras that you probably wouldn't have put in, like avoiding the chips and the crackers. Like I try to do like a yogurt with a container of raspberries or pineapple, and then my lunch, and that you can vary. Sometimes I'll even do a sandwich or a salad. Sometimes when the tomatoes were just really coming in, I would just pack a slice of whole grain bread with a slice of cheddar cheese and then a whole tomato, because I love them. And then I would just microwave the bread with the cheese and then slice up the tomato on it. Gonna miss those days of fresh tomatoes. We have a farm stand near us, and that's where I would go and get them. They were quite expensive, so I think if we're able to next year plant our own, we just don't have a good sunny spot for them. But I think it's awesome when you can have your own garden patch and do that. But now we're moving into new season, so there's going to be other types of vegetables and fruit available. And the farmer markets are really awesome. The farmers are they can give you great ideas of how to cook something, or they might have a more unusual vegetable, and they'll give you tips on that. So it's always good to learn about that.